Beloved seeker, listen closely. What if the last few months weren't random? What if they weren't bad luck? Or the universe punishing you? Or life falling apart for no reason? What if you've been undergoing a silent, cosmic exam 1? You didn't even know you agreed to? Not a test written on paper, but a test written in pressure. In silence. In the way the world suddenly felt too loud, too fake, too heavy, and yet you kept breathing through it anyway. Because this wasn't ordinary suffering. This was a quantum coherence assessment, a calibration designed to reveal one thing. Whether your soul can stay stable inside chaos, whether your heart can remain true while everything external tries to distort you, whether your inner signal can hold its frequency when the environment becomes a storm. And if you're here right now watching this, then I need you to hear this as more than motivation. Hear this as an esoteric proclamation. That isolation you felt, that strange spiritual pressure, the feeling that nobody could understand what you were carrying, the sudden endings, the delays, the shadow work that seemed to come in waves, that wasn't the universe abandoning you. That was the final exam. A controlled collapse, a sacred narrowing of the path, a stripping away of the false timelines, so only the true one could remain. And now, something has changed. Because this video, this transmission, is not here by accident. This is your official notification. A quiet but undeniable message from the deeper architecture of reality. You passed. You have graduated from a chaotic field into a coherent one. The void you survived wasn't emptiness. It was initiation. And what comes next will require a new version of you, one that no longer begs life for proof, but becomes the proof. So take a breath, because if you can endure the silence, you can carry the signal. And if you can carry the signal, you can anchor higher dimensions. Now let me tell you what this means, and why your reality is about to start responding differently. So why did it have to be that hard? Because there's a law beneath the laws, a physics that doesn't belong to laboratories, but to consciousness. And it begins with one word, coherence. Most people live like a messy waveform, a nervous signal that spikes and collapses, based on whatever happens around them. A text message changes their mood. A bill shakes their faith. A stranger's opinion hijacks their inner sky. They are not creating reality. They are being conducted by it. That's decoherence. When your energy is scattered, fragmented, reactive, when your frequency can't hold steady long enough to become a command. But you were being trained into something else. A tuning fork. Because a tuning fork doesn't beg the room to be quiet. It strikes once, and the entire space begins to reorganize around its tone. That's coherence. When your inner field becomes so stable, so self-contained, that your presence starts compelling the environment to match you. And this is why it was so intense. Because the universe has a safety protocol. It cannot hand creative authority to an unstable signal. That would be like giving nuclear keys to the volatile, like placing a storm in control of lightning. So the pressure wasn't punishment. It was vibrational testing, a stress test of your inner peace. Can you stay centered when you're misunderstood? Can you remain gentle when you're provoked? Can you hold faith when the world offers no evidence? Can you remain sovereign when life removes your crutches? Because in higher realities, your state is not a private feeling. Your state is a blueprint. In higher dimensions, your thoughts are not passive. They are architectural. Your emotions are not just emotions. They are instruction sets. So you had to be purified into stability, not to prove you're good enough, but because what you're about to carry is powerful. And here's the reversal, the secret truth most people never realize. The universe wasn't testing whether you were worthy of a better life. It was testing whether a higher reality was worthy of being anchored through you. Because the question was never, can you handle blessings? The question was, can you hold a frequency so clean that blessings can safely exist inside your field without becoming corrupted? And if you're here, still breathing, still listening, still feeling that quiet inner fire, then the answer has already been given. You didn't survive the pressure by accident. You proved something to the cosmos, that your signal can hold, that your heart can stabilize, that your consciousness can become coherent. And when coherence is achieved, reality begins to rearrange itself, not as a reward, but as a natural consequence. Because the tuning fork has entered the room, and now the room must respond. If you truly passed the quantum frequency test, it leaves marks. Not on your body, on your timeline. Not as a certificate you can frame, but as 3 unmistakable fingerprints pressed into your reality. First, the clearing. This is the part people misunderstand. They think, I'm losing everything. But what's actually happening is frequency hygiene. Because your life is a broadcasting station. And when a station upgrades its signal, anything that creates static has to go. So people fall away. Jobs stop fitting. Old habits suddenly feel poisonous. Rooms you once tolerated feel suffocating. Even your old personality, the version of you that survived by shrinking, pleasing over-explaining, begins to feel like a costume that won't stay on. This isn't life punishing you. This is your field saying, I will not carry interference anymore. Some connections don't end because they're bad. They end because they're incompatible with your new coherence. And the universe doesn't negotiate with incompatibility. It clears the static so the signal can finally be heard. Then, the echoes begin. At first, synchronicity feels like a cute wink, a repeating number, a song with the exact lyric you needed, a random phrase that pierces your chest like a prophecy. But after graduation, it escalates. It becomes a barrage, like reality is speaking in a louder language, not to impress you, but to confirm the shift. Because synchronicities aren't superstition. They are mathematical echoes, patterned responses from the quantum field. Proof that the invisible architecture around you is reorganizing around a new stable signal. You'll notice you think something, and it appears. You whisper an intention, and a door opens. You question your path, and an answer arrives from 3 separate directions with the same message. This is not coincidence. This is coherence interacting with the field. It's reality saying, yes, I can hear you now. Because when your frequency stabilizes, your timeline starts responding with precision. And then, the most misunderstood fingerprint of all, the still point. A period of profound quiet, a strange emptiness, a silence so clean it almost feels unsettling, like something should be happening, but isn't. You might call it boredom. You might call it a void. You might wonder if you lost your spark. But listen, this is not depression. This is not failure. This is not the universe abandoning you. This is the clean canvas after a system reboot. After the shedding, after the storms, after the field reorganizes, there comes a holy pause. Because the old commands have been deleted, and now reality waits, not for your panic, not for your begging, but for your first coherent command. In this stillness, you're not empty. You're uncluttered. You're not in a void. You're standing at the center of a recalibrated universe, where the next thing that enters your life will be chosen by alignment, not desperation. So if your world has been shedding, echoing, and then going silent, don't be afraid. That silence isn't nothing. It's the moment the cosmos leans in and says, go ahead, speak. Now we move from revelation to engineering, because graduation isn't the end of the path, it's the moment. You're given access to the control panel, not control over people, not control over life, control over your signal. And your signal is the real architecture. So here is your toolkit, simple, precise, and powerful. 1. The frequency lock, 30 seconds. This is a micro ritual you can do anywhere, in your car, in the bathroom, in the middle of chaos, to pull your consciousness back into coherence. Think of it like snapping your timeline back into alignment. Step 1. Name it, declare the state. Not the drama, not the story. The state. Say it softly or inside your mind. I am calm. I am clear. I am protected. I am steady. You're not asking for it. You are selecting it. Because names are not labels, names are coordinates. Step 2. Feel it. Recall the somatic sensation of peace. Don't overthink this. Peace is a texture in the body, a temperature, a softness behind the ribs, a widening in the breath. Bring up a real memory, a moment you felt safe, clean, present. Then let your nervous system remember, oh, this is what coherence feels like. Because your body is the altar where frequency becomes real. Step 3. Lock it. Use a physical anchor. Now you seal the state into the body. Choose one simple anchor. Clench your fist gently. Tap your sternum. Press thumb and finger together. Touch your heart. And while you do it, repeat your state one more time. I am steady. I am clear. I am peace. Do this for 10-30 seconds. You're teaching your system a shortcut. State. Signal. Reality. Soon the anchor alone will bring you back. 2. The decree of is. Most people call it manifesting. But listen closely. Manifesting often hides an unconscious confession. Lack. Because I want implies I don't have. I'm trying implies I'm not yet. I hope implies I'm not sure it will happen. But you're not a beggar in the field anymore. You're an architect, so you shift from wanting to decreeing. Not arrogance, authority. Not fantasy, frequency law. Stop saying I want peace, and start saying peace is my default. And stop saying I want protection, and start saying I am protected. Stop saying I hope it works out, and start saying it is working out for me. Because the word is a gate. It tells your local universe. This state is not a request. It's a law here, and your subconscious obeys laws faster than it obeys wishes. 3. Coherent broadcasting. Here's the part that will humble the mind. At this level, the work is no longer in the doing, it's in the being. Because a verified frequency influences the room simply by entering it. A tuning fork doesn't argue. It doesn't chase. It doesn't over-explain. It arrives and the air reorganizes. So your practice becomes this. Before the phone call, be the state before the meeting. Be the state before you react. Be the state before you decide. Be the state, and if you fall out of it, good. Use the frequency lock, return, re-enter, because coherence isn't perfection, it's recovery speed. It's how quickly you return to the throne, and when you live that way long enough, you'll notice something terrifyingly beautiful. You won't be chasing signs anymore. Reality will start chasing you, because it can finally feel what you are. And what you are is the broadcast, and now we close the circle. Because this graduation was never just a personal breakthrough. It wasn't only so you could get a better job, a calmer mind, a prettier life. Those things can come, yes, but they are side effects. The deeper truth is more ancient and more serious. You didn't stabilize for yourself alone. You stabilized because the planet needs stable signals. Right now, the collective field is loud. Fear loops, rage storms, distractions engineered to fragment attention. Timelines collapsing and rewriting faster than most nervous systems can handle. And in a chaotic field, coherence is medicine. So hear this as your final initiation. You are not just a person who made it through. You are a node of coherence coming online. A living tuning fork. A steady frequency in a shaking world. And when one node becomes stable, it doesn't just heal itself. It begins to stabilize the grid around it. Family systems, friendships, workplaces, rooms you walk into, even strangers who feel calmer without knowing why. Because coherence is contagious. Not through force, through presence. So here's what I want you to do, right now, as a seal, as a ritual, as a declaration to the field. Go to the comments and type the word, verified. Not as a trend, not as a joke, as a frequency anchor. Because when you write it, you're not just commenting on a video, you're confirming your signal. You're telling your nervous system, I choose stability. You're telling the quantum field, I am coherent. You're telling your timeline, I am ready. And if you feel it in your chest when you type it, that subtle click of recognition, that's the node activating. Welcome back to your power. Welcome to your assignment. Verified. Next time, family, universal consciousness. Signing O.